to another Derek Burleson art. I'm going to paint with him today. I'm going to do a little winter scene, little Christmas scene for our class in December. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, we're doing it on 11 by 14 acrylic paint. Starting to put the gesso on. Just get it in there. You might see some drawings on this canvas or some lines. It's not a drawing of the picture. It was an old canvas I had or canvas board I had that I was doodling on. All right, so I'm gonna get the background in. It's just some ultramarine blue, a little gesso. See, I'm using my little spray bottle there. Kind of keep a little moisture on the canvas. We'll get it on there pretty quick. This was a fun little painting. Actually, I think I took an inspiration from an old Bob Ross video, and then I just kind of changed it around a little bit to fit myself. Just get the background on. Let's see, even I got a little background music of Christmas music. I am actually taping this in March, getting ready for next December. Okay, I'm going to use our little fan brush here, which I don't use my fan brush a lot, but I thought this painting, I'm going to use it a few times. Right now, I'm just going to use it to put in some clouds. We'll put the clouds in fairly quick. I'm going to get our little mop brush here, kind of blend it in while it's still wet. It's acrylic, so you have about 30 seconds to a minute to blend, and then it starts to really dry on you. I'm just going to use this little fan brush to put in some quick clouds. Normally I'll use my filbert brush to do clouds. I really enjoy that. But I will use the mop brush to kind of blend them, or, a 1 inch or inch and a half, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to get these all in. And I thought today while I was doing this little painting, I was going to have me a glass of wine. And it had a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. Don't remember the name, but I thought, what a perfect day to paint, have a little wine. I've actually also been painting. I painted this one a couple of weeks ago or last week. I've actually been working on another painting with a group of deer in it, and it'll be up for video next week, I hope, or the next couple of weeks. All right. Anyway, what we're doing is I started putting my trees in there, and then I thought, what would really look good back there is some mountains. I just thought, wow, I think mountains would really make this painting pop a little bit. So I'm just using a little bit of the ultramarine blue. I think straight out of the tube. I didn't mix anything with it or add anything. And we'll just get it on there using my, I think it's a 3/4 inch flat brush. Same ones I use in class. I try to use the same brushes for my paintings at home getting ready as I'm going to use in the class. Same paints also. A little bit darker. Remember, when we shape our mountains, these are going to be way back in the background, so we're not going to put a lot of detail in. What we don't want these mountains to do is be too defined. We don't want them to look like triangles or teepees. We don't want them to look fake. We want them to look like old rugged mountains way in the background. And I'm just adding a little bit of that gesso to my light side. My light's coming from the left side there, coming across, so I'm going to kind of highlight that left side of the mountain. And remember, I'll cover up some of these mountains with more trees, so don't get too hung up on making the mountains look really detailed. Spreading that bottom out there a little bit. Okay, I'm going to start putting in my trees a little bit, kind of defining them. These trees are way in the background. Just still using that old 1-inch or 3/4 inch flat brush or chiseled brush. Just putting them in. I'll put a little detail on them later. Right now we're just getting paint on the canvas. There we go. Now I'm just going to kind of seep those trees a little bit, put a little snow. And add a little dark. What this will do when we start adding more snow is it'll give dimension to the snow. It'll make it look like it has more 3-dimension. It's going to kind of blend it a little bit. Adding a little bit of gesso to it. Not putting a lot of detail in right now. I'm just kind of getting the lay of the land right now. How's our land gonna? Is it gonna slope? Is it gonna be flat? This is gonna kind of slope down. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a creek in here. That'll kind of break that up a little bit. So I just need to figure out my land and where my edge is going to go. So what I did is I just went right into that black. I think I just went into straight Mars black just to give me kind of an edge of my water line. I may have added just a little bit of blue in there, but probably not a lot. And then I got that paint a little bit wet, and then I just pulled down with that brush, kind of give the illusion of a reflection. We'll just keep kind of pulling down and then pull across. You don't want to keep working it too much, or you'll start, if it's too wet, or you'll start taking the paint off the canvas. So I'm just going to kind of get it in there so it looks like there's a reflection. And we'll put more highlights on the creek later. Just smooth it out, pull down as I go. And kind of define where our creek or little river's going to go. So I'm going to put a little bit of snow on the other side of the bank here. So now you can kind of see how the creek's going to flow through there. And I thought and I didn't put it in this painting, but what I thought is right there on that bend, I should have put a little waterfall. I think that would have looked really neat. Hindsight's 2020. So even though I didn't get it in this video, I may put it in when we do our class. I kind of brought that over a little bit, but I think a little waterfall would have looked perfect in there. I think that's coming along nicely. I think this painting's gonna really turn out nice. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna highlight these trees, put a little snow on them. Remember, my reflection's coming from the left side, so I'm gonna put more of my snow on that left side, so it kind of shows light, but don't cover up that dark on the right side. You want it to look like it's more three-dimensional. I think that's looking good. Seating that in just a little bit more. I think here I might be using my filter brush. I'm not real sure. We're just trying to get what I'm doing here now is I'm just fluffing up the snow a little bit. And we're going to make a decision here on where our little cabin or barn, whatever you want to call it's going to be. And I think we're going to make it right here. Just went right into that straight black. Make kind of a triangle there, then pull down. That'll be the front of our little cabin. Don't worry about if you don't have the dimensions quite right. We'll do a cabinectomy to it later. We'll seat that right in the snow. Get our roof there defined here. Just going to go with a little bit of that ultramarine blue, just to give kind of a different color. That way when I put my snow on later, that'll kind of reflect through. Going to start defining our snow here just a little bit, and we'll fluff it up here in a minute because we're going to get ready to put our trees in. Kind of bringing that foreground snow up just a little bit, give it a little separation between the back there and the front. That's going to look really good here. I'm kind of darken that edge. You know what I say on our paintings? We always try to make that bottom edge left and right, even the tops, a little bit darker. That way when the eye comes in, it starts working back toward the center of the painting. If your edges are too light, the eye will just go right off the painting and it'll lose interest in what the picture is. So you try to trick the eye to getting back in a little bit. Just kind of making that darker there just a little bit in the front. Kind of keep that eye right in there. We'll blend it all in. See how our creek now just kind of comes around a bend. Kind of softening that edge there. Again, I think that'd have been a perfect place for a little waterfall. I'll have to remember that for class, even though it's like 8 months away. I'm just going to highlight this area. Remember I said we're going to seat that cabin in there, giving that little cabinectomy. highlight that area because we're going to get ready for our trees that we're going to put in. You know, we always like to put in trees. Now I just went into a little bit of my alizarin crimson. Might have touched up with just a little bit of gesso or white just to kind of lighten it. And now I'm just going to kind of put that on the front of the cabin. Look like an old barn or, well, it is red, so it probably is an old barn setting up in there. That's going to look really good when we're done. I think you're going to enjoy this painting. Okay, let's go ahead and start putting a little bit of that snow on the roof. That'll give that snow, or that roof a little bit of depth. Snow really make that little building starting to pop. Then we'll take the edge of our brush and just kind of tap along that other side. Look like there's a pile of snow up there. Again, it gives it that little three-dimensional look. But look at that old barn up there. You know, I didn't put a little stovepipe on there, so that would have been neat too. A little stovepipe with some smoke coming out, and that made it really look like a cabin. But so I think now it's just going to be an old barn. So I'm going to again get that cabin, just a little cabinectomy seated in the snow. To kind of make that little trail there that goes down to the creek. Either go down there and he fishes for his dinner or gets his water. We don't know. Maybe the creek's not very deep and they bring the cattle across it or something. I'm just kind of fluffing the snow a little bit. All right, big decision time. Start to put our trees in. And again, I'm using that fan brush. Just gonna tap it in there, tap back and forth. You want it to start small at the top, then get bigger and spread out as you go down. But don't just put a big blob in there. You're gonna look like you got a huge triangle. You want to leave some of that light showing through in the background. Not a lot, you just want a little bit though. And you remember I said I like to paint a painting in about an hour, hour and a half or less before I take it to class. That way I know that the class can do it in about 3 hours. I think this one took me right at an hour. But of course I cut it down for you, added it to about 30 minutes. I think actually it's 31 minutes and some change, but that'll be perfect. So I've got a couple of my trees in there. Just kind of putting some of that at the bottom because we'll shade that in a little bit. Put us another tree over there. Okay, let's get that tree in there. We'll put us maybe a couple more. We don't want to fill that area up too much because we're going to put us a big tree up front. And I think I'm going to put us Yeah, this is really starting to look good. I like this painting. I think it's going to really turn out nice. It's going to be a fun little painting that I think everyone can do. There's not been any problems. I haven't ran into any problems yet. This is just going to be really basic. So I think we're going to be good here. Very good. Okay, we'll start putting a little reflection down in the water of those trees. We'll start really starting to start making that creek kind of pop a little bit. Or I should say, when you're from Kansas, the crick. Got to get that crick to pop. Keep on pulling down, keeping that paint a little bit wet, and that way I can pull down. And when I pull across, it gives that wave effect. We'll just keep working the water. I'll put a little more highlight on there, a little bit of the snow reflecting in. All right, here comes our big decision. What are we gonna do here? There it is, big tree. And I just used that 3/4 inch chisel edge brush or flat brush, whatever you want to call it, to make my tree. I just went into the straight black. We'll add a little detail or color to it later. I like how that's starting to turn out. I think it's really look good. We'll probably go into our liner brush here in a minute, and we'll start putting some limbs on that big tree. But while we let that kind of dry a little bit, the back trees have dried, so we're going to go right into that gesso and start highlighting our trees. Remember where your light's coming from, and kind of leave that other side more on the darker side, give it that three-dimensional. These are the little things that really make your painting start to pop. Even though this is just a really fast painting, very simple, it's still one that you could proudly frame and hang on your wall. And people will say, wow, how did you do that? So this is a really great beginner painting. Just going to kind of pull some of those colors while they're still wet, give them a little shadow. Same time, it'll kind of seek those trees in the snow. That's going to look really good. Add a little more snow there, give a little more detail. There we go. Now we're going to use that little liner brush. Just going to kind of go up through there. Remember, if your hand's a little bit shaky, this is the perfect thing for you, because those tree limbs are shaky. Their tree limbs aren't straight. So this is great for you. Like I said, if you've got a shaky hand, you can do trees really well. And most of the time, the more limbs and things you put on a tree, the better it is, the more it pops, because the tree has lots of limbs, lots of little limbs. But in for the sake of time, we can't put a bunch of them. We just put a few just to give the indication that that's a tree with limbs. And we kind of let the eye finish where the limbs are going to be. Kind of get up there to the top. Kind of cut my painting off a little bit, didn't I? Well, all we're doing is just putting some limbs in. Sorry, my big hands in the way. There we go. This is really starting to come together. That tree just pushed everything back in the background and made it look far away. Those old mountains, you can't hardly see them, but they're there. And they're way back there. So I tell my students, sometimes they get so hung up on their mountains or the clouds or trees that are way back there. And I said, stop spending all your time on those, because we're going to cover up about 90% of them. All right. I took my little palette knife here, got a little roll of white paint, went right into the gesso. We're just going to make us a shoreline. I don't just draw a straight line across there, kind of cut it up a little bit. Okay. Just bring this brown along here a little bit. There we go. Kind of bring it, looks like some ice or snow is right on that shoreline. Bring a little bit of it out there into the water. There we go. That'll start making that look like an old frozen creek or little inlet somewhere, maybe. Let's say it could be a pond. Has a little area over here, a cove or something. Maybe it goes off to the left there. We don't know. I'm calling it a creek for today. I'm just going to kind of smooth that area there. Give a kind of a smooth transition. Don't want any harsh lines. Just going to fluff up that snow a little bit. Make it look fluffy, like a good fluffy snow. Now I think it's time to put our snowman in. Got to just figure out where we want him. I think we're going to put him right there. Every Christmas scene needs a snowman. Again, just using that pure gesso. Add maybe just a touch of gray to it, or black to make a gray, a little bluish black. That way it kind of stands a little proud of where the snow is. Looks like the perfect day out there to have a snowman. Sitting over there in the cabin or barn, whatever it is. Just looking at the winter wonderland. I don't know why I'm painting this painting here. Kansas has been horrible this year with snow. We've had like a 3 or 4 inch snow, 14-inch snow last Tuesday. Funny what a week will do, but Wednesday had about 2 or 3 inches. And it's just been cold. So tired of winter already. Usually I love winter, but not this year. Anyway, we're going to go and do some of our highlights. scarf on him. It's cold out there. A black scarf. You paint, you can make it any color you want. I just put a black one on there. Now that I've look at this painting, I'm like, you know, a red scarf would have really made that pop. Maybe in class I'll do a red scarf. I'll put a little top hat on him, or one of the little stovepipe hats. Now I'm just taking my little tiny liner brush, just making an indication. We made the arms out of a old stick. Maybe fell off that tree right over there on the right. Just kind of putting in some shading. Anyway, here's the duck that I'm working on. That was a quick preview of my duck. Anyway, we're going to call this done. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a great week, and I'll see you on the next one.